In a corner of Europe, where snow-capped peaks touch the sky, lakes reflect eternal mysteries. Ancient secrets whisper in the alpine winds. There is a place that seems to have been sculpted by the hands of the Creator. Welcome to the wonders of Switzerland. A small country on the map, but immense in its beauty. Where every valley, every peak, every drop of water sings a symphony of grandeur. Where hidden landscapes challenge the imagination. Here, nature has carved divine works. What lies beyond these mountains? Could forbidden beauties reveal the past? Switzerland holds enigmas that few know. But what makes these landscapes more than just beautiful? They hold stories, stories of a people living in harmony with nature, of secrets hidden in ice caves, and of a peace that can only be felt in the presence of the sublime. Stay with me, because this journey is just beginning. In this documentary, we will explore 10 wonders that reveal the vibrant soul of Switzerland. From the majestic summits of the Alps to lakes that seem like mirrors of creation, passing through villages that defy time. Here, nature is not just a backdrop, it is the protagonist. It is a living testament to the divine perfection that shaped this place. And throughout this journey, you will discover how Switzerland, with its simplicity and strength, became a haven of beauty and tranquility. An invitation for those seeking to reconnect with something greater. Each step we take together will be a chance to see the world with new eyes, to feel the pulse of the earth beneath our feet. Prepare for a unique experience where mountains, rivers, and forests come together to tell a story that goes beyond what we see. A story that resonates in the heart. We will cross deep valleys and climb to unimaginable heights. Join me as we unravel the mysteries of a country that whispers eternal truths in every landscape. Before we begin, how about checking if you're already subscribed to the channel? That way, you won't miss any of this adventure. And what comes next will take you to a place where silence speaks louder than words. Imagine a valley so perfect it seems painted by a celestial artist, with waterfalls cascading like silver veils. That is our first destination. And I promise, you won't believe what you're about to see, but what lies behind this almost supernatural beauty. Stay with me, because the answer is just ahead in the next step of this journey. Lauterbrunnen, the Valley of Waterfalls. Welcome to Lauterbrunnen, a valley that seems to have been drawn by a divine dream. Here, in the heart of the Swiss Alps, nature reveals itself in its purest form. Picture this: green cliffs rising like the walls of a celestial castle. And from them, 72 waterfalls plunge in silver veils, filling the air with a whisper that soothes the soul. This is the place where silence and sound dance together. Lauterbrunnen is not just a valley, it is a living masterpiece. The waters of the waterfalls, like the mighty Staubach, cascade from heights of nearly 1,000 feet, turning into mist before even touching the ground. It's as if the earth is breathing, exhaling life in every drop, and all around, the snow-capped peaks of the Bernese Alps stand watch, like guardians of an ancient secret. Walking here is to feel the weight of creation upon you. Each step echoes among the mountains, each breeze carries the freshness of melted snow. Locals say this valley is a gift from God, a place where the Creator chose to display his most delicate art. And it's hard not to believe that when you see wildflowers dotting the fields, cows grazing peacefully, and their bells chiming in a melody that feels eternal. But there's something more here, something beyond what the eyes can see. The very history of this place is a mystery. For centuries, Lauterbrunnen was an isolated refuge, almost untouched by the outside world. Its waterfalls, fed by glaciers hidden in the mountains, tell a saga of time and transformation. Scientists say these waters carved the valley over millennia, but to those standing here, it feels like it was all created in a single moment of divine inspiration. And then you stand before Staubach, the valley's most iconic waterfall. The mist rises like a veil, and the sun creates rainbows that dance in the air. It's impossible not to wonder, how can something so grand be so serene? The answer may lie in the simplicity of this place, in how nature here doesn't compete, but completes itself. Every waterfall, every stone, every ray of light seems to be exactly where it belongs. But Lauterbrunnen holds more than just visible beauty. There are stories whispered among locals about secret caves behind these cascades. Passages that lead to hidden worlds beneath the mountains. Do they really exist, or are they just legends born from the mystery this valley inspires? We'll find out more as we move forward, because this is just the beginning. Lauterbrunnen is an invitation to slow down, to contemplate the perfection that surrounds us. And as you breathe the pure air of this valley, something within you changes. A connection to the earth, to the divine, to something greater. But what happens when we climb even higher, to a place where the sky seems to touch the earth? Stay with me, because the next destination will take you to the top of the world, and there's something there you need to see. Jungfraujoch, the top of Europe. Leave behind the whisper of Lauterbrunnen's waterfalls and prepare to touch the sky. We're heading to Jungfraujoch, known as the top of Europe, at 11,615 feet above sea level. Here, the Swiss Alps rise in a display of power and beauty that takes your breath away. The journey begins with a train that winds through the heart of the mountain, a human feat that seems to defy nature. Through the windows, the green of the valleys gives way to the blinding white of glaciers, and the air grows thin, as if we're entering another world. We reach the top, and what you see is indescribable. The Aletsch Glacier, the largest in the Alps, stretches like an endless river of ice, sculpted over millennia. It's a deafening silence, broken only by the wind dancing among the snow-covered peaks. This place is more than a mountain. It's a sanctuary of creation. The Jungfrau, Mönch and Eiger form an imposing trio, watching over the landscape like divine sentinels. And at the Sphinx Observatory, you're so high that the clouds float below you like a sea of cotton. Take a deep breath. The air here is pure, sharp, almost sacred. They say on clear days, you can see as far as the forests of Germany and the French Alps. But what truly strikes you is the feeling of standing at the edge of the world, where earth meets sky in perfect harmony. The Aletsch Glacier, with its 14 miles of length, is a living testament to time. Layers of ice hold stories of past eras, secrets scientists strive to decipher. For the Swiss, it's a symbol of eternity, a gift from nature that withstands the passage of years. But Jungfraujoch is not just for contemplation. There's an ice palace hidden beneath the mountain, with tunnels and sculptures carved in the heart of the glacier. Walking through it is like stepping into a frozen dream, where light reflects off crystalline walls, creating an almost supernatural glow. And as you explore, a question lingers. How did nature create something so majestic? Locals say this is where God rested after shaping the Alps, leaving a piece of his soul here. Could it be true? The answer may lie in the peace you feel as you look around. Jungfraujoch is not just altitude, it's elevation. It's an invitation to lose yourself in the vastness, to forget time and connect with something eternal. And as the sun reflects on the ice, painting everything golden, you realize this is just the beginning of what Switzerland has to offer. But what happens when we descend from these heights and follow a path that cuts through mountains and valleys, on a journey that seems to defy the laws of gravity? In the next destination, we'll board a legendary train that reveals breathtaking landscapes. Stay with me, because something even more awe-inspiring awaits us. Glacier Express, the journey through the Alps. We leave the heights of Jungfraujoch and now embark on an adventure that cuts through the heart of the Alps. Welcome to the Glacier Express, Switzerland's most famous train, connecting Zermatt to St. Moritz in a journey that is pure poetry in motion. Prepare to witness creation in its grandest form. The train glides slowly, and through the panoramic windows, the world transforms. Snow-capped peaks give way to deep valleys, pine forests blend with stone bridges that seem to defy time. It's as if all of Switzerland is parading before your eyes, a living canvas painted by divine hands. It's over 8 hours of travel, but time loses meaning here. You pass the Landwasser Viaduct, an engineering masterpiece rising 213 feet above a chasm with arches that seem carved into the rock. The sound of the wheels echoes, and the scenery changes with every curve, like a gift that keeps surprising. The Rhone Glacier, one of the route's wonders, gleams in the sun as the train winds through tunnels and mountains. There are 291 bridges and 91 tunnels along the way, each telling a story of human effort to tame nature, or perhaps to dance with it in perfect harmony. Look out the window and see villages nestled in the slopes with wooden chalets and snow-covered roofs. Cows graze in green fields, and the sound of their bells reaches you, bringing a peace that feels like it's from another time. It's Switzerland in its essence, a balance between the wild and the serene. But there's something magical about the Glacier Express that goes beyond the landscapes. It's the feeling of being in motion, yet frozen in time, as if every mile is an invitation to contemplate the eternity of creation. The Swiss call it the window to paradise, and you soon understand why. And as the train crosses the Oberalp Pass at 6,670 feet, the horizon opens into a sea of mountains that seem infinite. The sky merges with the snow, and for a moment you wonder, has anyone ever seen something so perfect? The answer lies in the calm that washes over you, like a divine whisper. This journey isn't just about what you see, but what you feel. The Glacier Express is more than a train. It's a bridge between man and nature. A proof that beauty can be found in the journey, not just the destination. And as the sun begins to set, tinting the Alps golden, something new approaches. Our next stop takes us to a lake so crystal clear, it seems like a mirror of the sky. A place where tranquility reigns supreme, but hides secrets few know. Stay with me, because what's next will make you want to dive deeper into Switzerland's soul. Lake Lucerne, the mirror of Switzerland. We bid farewell to the Glacier Express and arrive at Lake Lucerne, a body of water that reflects Switzerland's soul. Surrounded by majestic mountains like Mount Pilatus and Rigi, this lake is a sanctuary of peace, where the blue of the water seems to merge with the sky in a silent dance of light and shadow. Sailing here is like gliding through a dream. Boats cut through the calm waters, leaving gentle ripples that soon vanish, while swans glide like guardians of serenity. In the distance, the Alps rise, watching over the lake like eternal sentinels, and the fresh air carries the scent of the forests lining its shores. Lake Lucerne is not just beauty, it's living history. Its waters bathe villages like Vegas and Witznau, where wooden chalets tell centuries of simple, harmonious life. They say this place inspired poets and artists, like Wagner, who found here a refuge for the soul, an echo of divine perfection. And then you spot the Chapel Bridge in Lucerne, one of Europe's oldest, adorned with flowers and flanked by medieval towers. It connects the lake's shores like a thread of time, reminding us that Switzerland unites past and present in every detail. But there's more to discover in the depths of these waters. Lake Lucerne holds secrets. Local fishermen speak of ancient legends, of mythical creatures dwelling in its depths, while scientists say the lake, formed millennia ago by glaciers, hides fossils of a lost world. Truth or myth, the feeling is that something magical pulses here. Look around. The reflection of the mountains in the water is so perfect, you almost can't tell where the earth ends and the sky begins. It's an invitation to pause, breathe, and contemplate. The Swiss say, this lake is the heart of the country, and as you feel it, you understand. It's a place where creation seems to gaze at its own reflection. But the tranquility of Lake Lucerne is not the end of our journey. As the sun sets, tinting the waters golden, another wonder calls us. In the next destination, we'll enter a village that seems frozen in time, where mountains and traditions tell a different story. Stay here, because what's next will surprise you even more. Zermatt and the Matterhorn, a Swiss dream. We leave the serene waters of Lake Lucerne and head to Zermatt, a village at the foot of a colossus that defines Switzerland, the Matterhorn. At 14,692 feet, this mountain is not just a peak, it's an icon, a symbol of creation in its most imposing and untouched form. Welcome to a place where time seems to stand still. Arriving in Zermatt is like stepping into a living postcard. Cars don't travel here, only the sound of bells and the clatter of horses echoes through the stone streets. Wooden chalets with flower-filled balconies nestle among green valleys. And in the background, the Matterhorn rises, its sharp silhouette cutting the sky like a divine spear. The Matterhorn is not just a mountain, it's a legend. Its near-perfect pyramidal shape has challenged climbers for centuries. In 1865, the first successful ascent ended in tragedy, with 4 of the 7 men falling to their deaths. Even today, they say their echoes still resonate in the slopes, a reminder of nature's raw power. Take the cogwheel train to Gornergrat at 10,134 feet and feel the crisp air sting your face. From up there, the Matterhorn reveals its true grandeur, surrounded by a circus of glaciers and snow-covered peaks. The silence is so profound you can almost hear the Earth's pulse, as if the mountain had a life of its own. And Zermatt isn't just about the mountain. Its streets hold ancient traditions. The sound of bells from the region's black-nosed sheep mingles with the aroma of fondue and hot chocolate. It's a village that breathes simplicity but carries the majesty of living at the foot of a giant of creation. Look at the Matterhorn at sunrise. The first rays paint its peak golden, and for a moment it seems the mountain is ablaze. The Swiss say this is where God rested after creating the Alps, leaving here a hallmark of his masterpiece. Can you feel that energy? But there's more to explore. Walk to Schwarzsee, a dark lake at the foot of the Matterhorn, where the mountain's reflection creates an almost sacred image. Local fishermen tell tales of spirits guarding these waters, while the wind whispers through the trees, as if confirming every word. And while you're here, lost in the vastness, something curious happens. Time slows down. Zermatt and the Matterhorn aren't just a destination. They're an experience that connects you to the eternal, to the force of nature that shaped this corner of Switzerland. By the way, how about leaving a like if you're already enchanted by this view? The Matterhorn still holds secrets. Its slopes hide trails leading to points where the silence is absolute and the sky feels within reach. Each step reveals more of its grandeur, but also the humility of those who live in its shadow, in harmony with something so powerful. And as the sun sets, tinting the peak with orange hues, you realize this mountain is more than rock and ice. It's a testament to creation that defies time. But what happens when we swap these peaks for a golden valley, where nature paints the earth with breathtaking colors? Follow me, because our next destination will take you to a place that feels like a living dream. Ticino, the Golden Valley of the South. We leave the imposing Matterhorn and head to southern Switzerland, where the climate shifts and the landscape takes on golden hues. Welcome to Ticino, a canton that feels like a slice of the Mediterranean nestled in the Alps. Here, palm trees sway in the breeze and lakes shimmer under a sun that warms the soul. Ticino is a magical contrast in Switzerland. While the north boasts snow-capped peaks, here Lake Lucerne reflects hills covered in vineyards and stone villages that look like they stepped out of an Italian painting. The air carries a touch of dolce vita, blended with alpine freshness, creating a unique harmony in creation. Stroll through Locarno, where sunlit squares host lively markets. The aroma of coffee and roasted chestnuts fills the air, while Piazza Grande echoes with laughter and the clinking of glasses. It's a place where nature and culture embrace, as if God decided to blend the best of two worlds. Climb to the Madonna del Sasso sanctuary above the lake, and the view will take your breath away. The blue of the waters merges with the green of the mountains, and the golden sunlight bathes everything in an almost celestial glow. They say this is a pilgrimage site, but anyone who arrives here feels something sacred in the air. And then there's the Verzaska Valley, a secret hidden among the mountains. Its crystal clear waters flow in emerald hues, so transparent you can see every stone at the riverbed. The Ponte dei Salti, a Roman bridge with double arches, spans the valley like a portal to another time, inviting you to dive into this untouched beauty. Ticino is not just scenery, it's living history. Influenced by neighboring Italy, the canton speaks Italian and carries a legacy of medieval villages like Bellinzona with its UNESCO-listed castles. Every stone here whispers tales of battles and kings, but today's piece is what truly captivates. Walk the trails among vineyards and olive groves and feel the sun warm your skin. The sound of birds and rustling leaves creates a natural symphony that calms the mind. It's as if Ticino were a gift from creation, a place where the earth breathes life and invites you to do the same. And as the sunset paints Lake Lugano in orange hues, you realize this canton is a hidden treasure of Switzerland, proof that nature knows how to surprise in the details. And now we trade these warm waters for a city that pulses between mountains and rivers. Get ready, because our next destination will take you to the vibrant heart of Switzerland. Bern, between rivers and mountains. We leave the golden warmth of Ticino and head to the heart of Switzerland. Bern, the capital that feels like a well-kept secret nestled between rivers and mountains. Here, the Aare River winds like an emerald ribbon, embracing a medieval city that breathes history and serenity at every corner. Walk the cobblestone streets of the old town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and feel time slow down. Sandstone arcades form natural tunnels, sheltering shops and cafes that seem straight out of a fairy tale. Above, the clock tower, or Zittglocke, marks the centuries with its bells and dancing figures. The Aare River is Bern's soul. Its crystal-clear waters rush swiftly, reflecting the green of the hills and the blue of the sky. In summer, locals dive into its currents, swimming as if they were part of nature. It's a dance between man and creation, a balance that defines this city. Look up and see the Münster, the Gothic cathedral that dominates the skyline. Its tower, over 330 feet tall, is a stone beacon guiding eyes and hearts. Climb its steps and behold Bern from above, the red rooftops, the winding river, and the Alps in the distance, like eternal guardians. And then there's the city's living symbol, the bears. Since the 12th century, they've been part of Bern's story, even inspiring its name. At the Bear Park, along the Aar, you see them roaming, a reminder of the deep bond between this land and its creatures, a harmony that feels divine. Bern is not just the past, it's a living capital, where the Swiss parliament pulses with decisions shaping the nation. But even here, amid politics and power, the city maintains an almost sacred calm, as if it knows its true strength lies in the nature surrounding it and the history sustaining it. Pass through the rose garden and breathe in the scent of over 200 types of flowers. The sunset view over the Aar is a spectacle that touches the soul, with the Alps tinged pink in the background. It's a moment that makes you pause and give thanks for the simple beauty creation offers. And as you explore, listen to the sound of water in the city's fountains. There are over 100, each with a story, like the Fountain of Justice, standing as a silent guardian. Bern is like that, a blend of strength and delicacy, a gift from the earth for those who know how to look. By the way, if this piece is enveloping you, how about leaving a comment sharing what you think of Bern so far? Because this city has more to reveal, like its lively markets and the echoes of a past that resonate in every stone. But our journey doesn't stop here. What happens when we trade Bern's calm rhythm for a city pulsing with life? Where rivers and mountains meet innovation and history, prepare your senses, because the next destination will take you to the vibrant heart of Zurich, a surprise that will quicken your pulse. Zurich, the vibrant heart of Switzerland. We leave Bern's medieval calm and arrive in Zurich, where Switzerland comes alive with energy and beauty. On the shores of Lake Zurich and sliced by the Limmat River, this city is a magical meeting of nature, history and modernity, pulsing in every street and square. Start at Bahnhofstrasse, one of the world's most elegant streets. Shop windows gleam with jewelry and Swiss watches, while the aroma of hot chocolate lingers in the air. But look beyond. Lake Zurich reflects the distant Alps, its calm waters contrasting with the city's vibrant rhythm. Step into the old town, the Altstadt, a maze of narrow streets and colorful townhouses. The Grossmünster raises its twin towers like guardians of the past, while Marc Chagall's stained glass in the Fraumünster bathes the interior with colors that seem to dance with divine light. Cross the Münster Bridge and feel the Limmat River flowing beneath your feet. Swans glide gracefully, and the sound of trams blends with the murmur of the water. It's an urban symphony, balancing the chaos of modernity with the serenity of the nature-embracing Zurich. Climb to Lindenhof, an elevated park overlooking the city. The lake shines like a mirror, the red rooftops form a mosaic, and the Alps watch in silence. This was once a Roman fort, but today it's an oasis of peace, where the wind whispers stories of centuries past. And Zurich isn't just history, it's innovation. Home to global banks and cutting-edge technology, the city pulses with the future. The Technorama celebrates science with fascinating experiments, while the Kunsthaus holds works by Picasso and Monet, uniting past and present in every brushstroke. Walk to Zurich West, where old factories have become galleries and trendy bars. The sound of music and laughter fills the air, and youthful energy breathes life into once grey buildings. It's a contrast that shows how Zurich breathes the now without losing its roots. And then there's the sunset over the lake. Boats glide slowly and the sky turns orange, reflecting on the water like a living painting. The Swiss say Zurich is the economic heart of the country, but those here feel a heart beating for the creation around it. Explore Uetliberg, Zurich's mountain, just minutes from the center. A trail leads to the top. At 2,154 feet, the view of the city, lake, and Alps is breathtaking. The fresh air fills your lungs, and the silence up there is a rare gift in such a lively metropolis. Return to the lake and hear the gentle waves against the promenade. Seagulls soar low, and the wind carries the scent of the mountains. In winter, Christmas markets light up the city with twinkling lights and the aroma of cinnamon, warming even the coldest days with a magic only Zurich has. By the way, if this energy is captivating you, how about checking if you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss what's next? Because Zurich has more. Its open-air markets, brimming with cheeses and chocolates, are an invitation to savor Switzerland in every bite. Visit Sechseleutenplatz, where festivals celebrate ancient traditions, like the burning of the Bug, a figure marking the arrival of spring. It's a city that honors the past while embracing the future, a balance that reflects Switzerland's soul in every detail, every view, every sound. And as the sun dips below the horizon, tinting the lake with golden hues, you realize Zurich is unique, a metropolis living in harmony with nature. But what happens when we swap this urban vibrancy for a valley where waterfalls and mountains tell ancient secrets? Hold that curiosity, because the next destination will take you to a breathtaking place. Grindelwald, the Valley of Alpine Dreams. We leave Zurich's vibrant pulse and head to Grindelwald, a valley in the Bernese Alps that feels like it stepped out of a dream. Surrounded by peaks like the Eiger and Wetterhorn, this is a place where nature reigns supreme, offering a vision of creation in its purest and most majestic form. Arriving in Grindelwald is like entering a world apart. Wooden chalets with flower-filled balconies dot the valley, while the sound of cowbells echoes among the mountains. The fresh air carries the scent of pines and melted snow, and the Alps rise like guardians of an untouched realm. Take the cable car to first at 7,213 feet and feel your heart race. The view is a sea of white peaks and green valleys, with the Eiger North face, a 5,900-foot wall, dominating everything. Climbers call it the Wall of Death, but its beauty from afar is simply mesmerizing. Walk the cliff walk, a suspended walkway hugging the mountain. The void below takes your breath away, but being so close to the Alps is indescribable. The wind blows strong, and the distant sound of waterfalls reminds you that life here pulses in every corner, like an eternal hymn of creation. And then, behold the Grindelwald Glacier. Its tongues of ice descend from the mountains, gleaming in the sun like frozen rivers. It recedes each year, scientists say, but it remains a testament to the power that carved this valley millennia ago, a living relic of the Earth's history. Enter the Gletscherschlucht, a canyon formed by the glacier. Wooden walkways guide you between towering rocks and roaring waterfalls with primal force. The mist rises, and the sound echoes like an eternal whisper, connecting you to something greater, almost divine. In summer, Grindelwald's meadows bloom with edelweiss and daisies, a colorful carpet under the blue sky. Trails lead to viewpoints like Männlichen, where the panorama of the Bernese Alps is so vast it feels infinite, an invitation to lose yourself in nature's immensity. In winter, the valley turns into a snowy paradise. Skiers race down the slopes at thrilling speeds. The excitement and laughter fill the air. Beneath the white blanket, the mountains remain majestic, as if creation here renews itself with each season in an eternal cycle of beauty and strength. Now, explore the village and feel the living traditions. The smell of fresh bread wafts from bakeries, while markets offer creamy alpine cheeses. At dusk, the sound of yodeling echoes through the valleys, a melody carrying centuries of life in harmony with these imposing mountains. Climb to Pfingsteg and ride the alpine toboggan, feeling the wind in your face as the valley unfolds below. It's a blend of adventure and contemplation, a reminder that Grindelwald unites the wild and the serene in every experience it offers to the heart and soul. Walk to Bakalpsee, a hidden lake at 7,131 feet. The reflection of the Schreckhorn and Finsteraarhorn in the calm waters creates a natural mirror that seems to defy reality. It's a place of absolute silence, where creation reveals itself in its most perfect form. And at sunset, the peaks take on hues of pink and orange, reflected in the glacier's ice. It's a spectacle that soothes the soul, a moment that makes you give thanks for witnessing such beauty. Locals say this valley is a divine gift, and you feel it in every view. By the way, if this valley is enchanting you, how about leaving a like to celebrate this wonder, because Grindelwald has more. Secret trails lead to blue ice caves, where light dances on crystalline walls, like a secret guarded by the mountains. Spend a day at Kleine Scheidegg, the starting point for legendary climbs. The view of the Eiger, Munch and Jungfrau trio is breathtaking, and the sound of the Alpine train echoes in the distance, uniting adventure and history in a scene that seems painted by celestial hands. Grindelwald is an endless alpine dream. Every turn reveals a new face of creation. Every sound echoes the eternity of the mountains. And as the sun vanishes behind the Eiger, one final wonder calls us. A place where history and nature dance in perfect union. Imagine what's next, because the next destination will surprise you beyond expectation. Geneva, the jewel of the lake and history. We leave Grindelwald's Alpine Valley and head to western Switzerland, where Geneva shines like a jewel on the shores of Lake Léman. This city, embraced by mountains and crystal-clear waters, is a crossroads of history, culture and nature, a place that pulses with the essence of creation in every detail. Arriving in Geneva is to feel perfect balance. The jet d'eau, a fountain shooting water 460 feet high, is the city's postcard, bursting into the lake like a cry of life. In the background, the Alps and Mont Blanc watch in silence, while the fresh breeze carries the scent of the waters and the flowers along the shores. Walk along the Promenade du Lac and see Lake Léman reflect the sky in shades of blue and silver. Boats glide gently and swans swim with grace, like guardians of an eternal peace. It's a scene that soothes the soul, a mirror of creation that invites you to pause and contemplate. Step into the old town and feel the weight of history. Cobblestone streets lead to St. Peter's Cathedral, a Gothic masterpiece dominating the skyline. From its tower, you see Geneva from above, the shimmering lake, the red rooftops, and the mountains forming a natural embrace around the city. The cathedral holds centuries-old secrets. It was here that John Calvin, the French theologian, preached during the Protestant Reformation, turning Geneva into a beacon of ideas that echoed worldwide. The stone walls still seem to whisper his words, a reminder of the power of faith and thought that shaped this city. Pass by the Wall of the Reformers in the Parc des Bastions, where statues of Calvin and other leaders tell a saga of change. The park is an oasis of tranquility, with centuries-old trees and the sound of children's laughter uniting past and present in perfect harmony. Geneva is more than history. It's a global hub. Home to the UN and the Red Cross, the city pulses with diplomacy and hope. The Palais des Nations, with its imposing corridors, is a symbol of unity, while the lake beside it reflects the peace these institutions strive to build. Explore Carouge, a bohemian neighborhood that feels like an Italian village. Colorful houses, open-air cafes, and the aroma of fresh bread create a unique vibe. It's as if Geneva knows how to blend the cosmopolitan with the simple, offering a piece of creation that delights the senses and warms the heart. And then there's the Jardin Anglais, with its famous flower clock. Over 6,500 flowers form a dial that keeps time with Swiss precision, a tribute to nature and human ingenuity. The lake shimmers beside it, and the sound of gentle waves is a melody that lulls those who pass by. Sail on Lake Léman and feel the breeze on your face. The view of Mont Blanc, the highest peak in the Alps, is breathtaking, especially at sunset when the sky turns golden. Fishermen say the lake holds stories of ancient shipwrecks, a mystery that adds magic to its waters. By the way, if Geneva is captivating you, how about leaving a comment with your favorite part so far? Because this city has more. Its summer markets, brimming with cheeses and wines, are an invitation to savor Switzerland, while the sound of street performers fills the air with life. Visit CERN, home to the world's largest particle accelerator. Here, scientists explore the universe's secrets as if Geneva were a portal between the visible and the invisible. It's a fascinating contrast to the lake's calm, showing how the city unites the eternal and the innovative. Pass by the Quai du Mont Blanc and see yachts lined up reflecting Geneva's discreet luxury. At night, the city's lights dance on the water, creating a spectacle that blends human brilliance with natural beauty. It's a moment that makes you give thanks for being here, in this corner of creation. And as you explore, listen to the sound of the wind in the trees of Parc Lagrange. Roses bloom in arches, and their scent fills the air like a gift from the earth. Geneva is like that, a city that celebrates life in every street, every view, every breath of fresh air from the lake and mountains. In winter, the lake gains a mysterious mist, and the city is draped in Christmas lights. The smell of roasted chestnuts and hot chocolate warms the cold, while the jet d'eau shines against the grey sky, a beacon of hope amid the season's quiet. Geneva is a crossroads of worlds, Europe and beyond, past and future, nature and man. Each step here reveals a new layer of creation, from the roar of the jet d'eau to the silence of the distant mountains. It's a city that invites you to reflect, to feel, to connect with something greater. And at dusk, sit by the shores of Le Mans. The sun dips behind Mont Blanc, tinting the lake with orange hues, and for a moment, time stops. The Swiss say Geneva is the heart of world peace, but you feel it's also a heart that beats for divine beauty. This journey through Switzerland has taken us from valleys to cities, from snow-capped peaks to serene lakes. Each place, like Geneva, is a piece of creation that reminds us of the world's grandeur. And as the sun sets, how about checking if you're subscribed to our channel so you don't miss our next adventures? Switzerland is a living hymn to divine perfection, where every mountain rises like praise to the Creator. Its crystal-clear lakes reflect God's glory, a mirror of eternity that soothes the soul. From Lauterbrunnen's waterfalls to the imposing Matterhorn, Switzerland's wonders proclaim celestial genius. A blessed land that unites strength and serenity in sublime harmony. And Geneva is not the end, it's an invitation to keep exploring. Switzerland has shown us mountains that touch the sky, waters that reflect eternity, and cities that unite man with nature. Close your eyes and imagine, where will our next journey take us? Until then, this is the grand finale of an alpine dream. And our adventure doesn't end here. Now explore the 10 wonders of the United States, and that video will appear on your screen, waiting for you. Are you ready to cross the Atlantic and discover what awaits? From canyons that defy time to cities that touch the stars, the United States of America holds secrets that will warm your heart. Click now on the video on your screen and dive into this epic journey already available on the channel. Discover the extraordinary around the world. A big hug, and until the next journey,